Spontaneous speaking video 88. Alright, what's up, everyone? So, today I'm here to kind of pretty much address something per usual that I have kind of noticed in the Myers Briggs community, especially on Twitter. I believe that I would like to think that everybody means well, but at least how it comes off in my perspective. Maybe this is not really the case. But from my perspective, and someone who did actually DM me saying thank you for posting this because this is exactly how I've been feeling, blah, 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 which we'll get to. So thankfully, it's not just my perspective that I'm sharing this about, but I feel like a lot of people in the Myers Briggs community, they on Twitter, they've been number one, they've been shaming, or how do I even explain it? Like, a lot of a lot of them have just been saying a lot of things that are obviously wrong and inaccurate, and just pointing out more of the things that are wrong rather than saying what then may be right, or why it's wrong, or why this even came about. You know what I mean? And so I think it'd be best if I just jump into the examples. Um, Actually, you know what? I'm gonna just pull up one of the tweets. So, one of the famous quotes that people love to recycle and tweet and stuff is stuff like, FE, extroverted feeling, and that's found in FJs and then lower stacked in TPs. Um, FE does not equal harmony, which is, found. Like that started, we'll get to that. Stuff like that. Or authenticity does not, like FI does not equal authenticity. Stuff like that. TI does not mean accuracy. These are all jabs at Personality Hacker. Personality Hacker is actually the place where all of these nicknames for the function came from. And I know for certain that a lot of people in the Myers Briggs community on Twitter, they'll like listen to a little bit of things from Personality Hacker, like here and there, but they're not like, they don't absorb the content. So they'll take like little sound bites and stuff, and then they'll kind of like hear like one thing, be like, and you go tweet about it. And then their tweeting about it will cause people who haven't listened to the content at all to start tweeting about it too. And then it's like, okay, but there's a reason behind why every kind of stereotype shows up. So if I'm constantly seeing that people are equating FE to harmony and FI to authenticity and TI to accuracy and, stuff like that, then instead of just telling people, no, 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 that's not what it is, I should probably, one, identify where that came from, why that started, and then start explaining, okay, so this is what's true about it, and then this is what should probably be further elaborated. That's, in my opinion, how you properly do this, instead of just going online and, speaking as if like you're just such a professional, you're such an expert that, well, obviously FE does not equal harmony. FE does not is just equal what the group wants, and FI does not just equal authenticity. You should all know this. Stop using the functions to describe the human condition. Not everything is black and white. We all come from different backgrounds and experiences. So I quoted this, and I want to say this right away before anybody jumps and takes the soundbite. And I said this in the tweet too. I am not coming for the person who tweeted this. Person has like 17 retweets and 59 likes on it. So clearly a lot of people agree. And fun fact, I agree with this too. I definitely agree with it. But this is what I had to say about it. I agree and definitely believe we should not overpush these terms for the functions. But every time I see such tweets, I do genuinely wonder if we know where they derive from and how. A word used to help beginners understand the functions is not meant to capture its complexity. FI does not equal authenticity, nor does it indicate FI users are the only ones capable of being authentic. However, because they're often most concerned with expressing what is most true to them and congruency with their inner voices, the closest word describes this. The closest word to describe this is authentic. FE does not equal harmony, what the group wants. However, it is most concerned with being attuned to how we interpersonally connect, finding common values that benefit everyone, and influencing the emotional atmosphere of people/groups. So harmony is the best word, even if it isn't everything. So again, I agree with the original post, don't get it twisted. However, I just want to gently remind everyone that it's important to know how these words became popular for each function. Understand a word can only describe so much about a complex function and isn't meant to. Sometimes, well, oftentimes, I feel like all we do out here is say, this is not this, rolling eyes, and this does not mean this, with a, like kind of like annoyed face and everything. But we haven't maybe taken enough time to understand why people might believe that it does and then gently help them graduate from their understanding. If I was a beginner and all I saw was this kind of thing, I would quit type. I would just quit type. Because every time I feel like I'm getting somewhere, I see tweets seemingly shouting at me that that's not how it works, rather than trying to help me understand more of the nuance. I don't know. I just feel this is how I feel. Could be wrong about all this, but I felt it necessary to share, not intending to call anyone out with this thread, by the way, either. So, yeah, I said that. And then someone actually DM'd me that saying, thank you for this tweet. I felt like this. And they said, thanks for speaking up. Also, Young's writing is very weird, and words like this help me understand the overarching idea in some ways, like the nicknames that are used for the functions. So she said, thanks for speaking up. And she said, I'm glad you said it because the type community agreeing with it made me like question marks. Do I know nothing, or am I missing something, or question marks? I was so confused, now less so. Basically, as I understand it, certain definitions of authenticity and common good are correlated to FI and FE, but are not caused by FI or FE, and are also not the exact same thing as FI or FE. And I'm glad you explained it all. I love when learned people speak their minds. More power to you. So yeah, all that being shared, I feel like this happens once again a lot. Another big example is, I'm trying to find it. Where's it at? I'm trying to like make this like quick too. Just give me a moment. I have so many notes, but pretty much. Dang it, where's it at? I'll find it. There we go. So pretty much, people often say things again like SI does not equal memory. All right, good. We see that tweet all the time. Thank you. We understand that SI does not equal memory. But now my question is, why do people equate it to memory? Oh, is it because SI users go off of the impressions that they've had of tangible experiences so they can now kind of like create blah blah blah? Now I get it, because they're referring back to this. It must pretty much mean like memory. It doesn't necessarily mean they have good memory, but they're going off of their memory or impressions based off of whatever experience that they had. This is why it's referred to as memory. Or they're going off of what has already been tried and true. They're going off of like what is structural, what is reliable, stuff like that. So when you understand where these words came from, then that little word that's not really that's just supposed to be the overarching idea for it, it now just helps remind you of all the deeper layers and nuance to it. But if we just keep on saying that this isn't it, but we don't clarify why that word can be attributed to it, then we're just continuing to confuse all of the newer people. Oh, FE does not equal harmony. Then what the heck does FE mean? Oh, so that's why people use the word harmony attributed to FE. They're not saying that harmony is always going to be what FE is quote unquote doing. They're not saying that only FE users are capable of bringing in harmony. They're not saying that only FI users are capable of bringing authentic, or TE users are capable of being effective. TI users are always accurate. This is not what they're saying. TI users are looking for accuracy. So they're always trying to refine their process on what makes sense to them. And they're trying to, healthy TI is trying to remove bias in a way so they can get to the root of what something might be in an objective sense. So then, just because something makes sense does not make it accurate. But because that's their goal, they're striving to look for accuracy, and that's what we'll call it, So you have to understand the nuance and all of that behind the reasons why these nicknames were chosen for people. And all of that being said, I have a video that I made a while back where I was pretty much defining all of the functions in my own words. And I also have a blog on that as well. And like I said, two videos. So I have a video for the judging functions and then a video for the perceiving functions. And I explained in depth, according to my understanding at the time. I know so much more nuance and stuff now, but that's still a good beginner video. And a lot of people really liked it. And it's just something to start you off. I explained why Personality Hacker used these words and how we can now use them, and how now knowing these words we can understand what a function may actually mean. Now, if you're more advanced and you don't need to use these words, good for you. That's great. But some people are new, so they need to know that these are the words, and it's good that we're correcting people and letting them know hey, it's not limited to, but don't just say that it doesn't equal at all, because now we're just further confusing them, and it's a problem, and yeah, that's pretty much what I said. We drive people away always saying this isn't how it works, and that's not how it works. This isn't what it is. This isn't what it is. But then we don't really explain gently this is actually how it works. But this is why people tend to think that this is how it works, because then, people get afraid to start asking questions. It's like the teacher who says things well, obviously it's not this. And then it's any students in the class are oh, well, if it's so obvious, then maybe everybody around me in class is sitting there yeah, duh. So if I ask my question now, I'm going to seem stupid, for those of us who are more advanced and all of that, who understand typology on a deeper level and everything, let's just try and be more mindful of this. That's what I ask about. But again, this could just be all just me, I don't know. So yeah, I would love to know what y'all think about that. Leave any questions, comments, concerns, and yeah, done.